Here is how to get a perfect game of Shy Guys Finish Last in Paper Mario the Origami King, which is a requirement for the Quizmaster trophy. And one thing that I just have to really stress before starting this out, make sure that you know all of the answers to the sudden death round ahead of time. Otherwise, if you make a mistake in the sudden death round, you'll have to do this whole thing all over again. So make sure that you know the words BURLY, AFLAME, and SCULLER. Ring Scramble Level 1. Ring Scramble Level 1 is probably one of the easiest puzzles that you'll do in the entire Shy Guys Finish Last game. All that happens is just the rings are spun, there's no sliding. So what I do, I just focus on the green guy here in the bottom right corner, and I just spin the rings one at a time until I can see that the lines are lined up. This is very easy, the easiest part of the game. Ring Scramble Level 2. This one could be pretty difficult the first time that you do it, but once you see how it's done, it's really simple to do. So I switch from the ring mode to the sliding mode, and I slide this first one into place until you see the Shy Guy's face there, and then I do that with the remaining wedges that are out of place. Once those 3 moves have been done, you'll have 4 remaining moves, and with each of those 4 remaining moves, all I do is a ring shuffle and bring everything up into order so that the Shy Guy's eyes, hoods, arms, everything is all lined up. It's very simple to do once you know how it's done, once you see how it's done, once you know what to do with every single move. Ring Scramble Level 3. At first, this is the most difficult part of Shy Guys Finish Last, but once you can do it, it's extremely easy. So here's how I do this. The first thing that I do when unscrambling this is going to the outer ring, and I bring the tower into place, because you know that the tower is going to be a vertical structure, so if you have that aligned, then you could base everything else off of that. So with your 4 ring spins, you should get the tower into place, and then you'll have 2 remaining moves that are slides, and with each of these slides, you'll take a look at which slice of this picture is distorted. And you just adjust that slice, keep moving it up and down until you see that it is fully aligned with the rest of the picture. And with these 2 remaining moves, you should be able to get the rest of it in place. Once you know how to do this, once you've done it once, it becomes extremely easy. It was once the hardest part of the game for me, but it's extremely easy once you know how to do it. Whether you're doing Race and Pace Level 1, Race and Pace Level 2, or Level 3, I have the same strategy for all of them. Here's what I recommend, and here's how to make this very easy. Have a sheet of paper beside you and a pencil, and write down from top to bottom the way that the creatures are arranged. So for example, if you have a Shy Guy at the top, and then a Koopa, and then a Ninji, and then a Goomba, then write down Shy Guy, Koopa, Ninji, Goomba. That way, when you get to the end of the race, when the numbers appear, you could write down those numbers next to them. And you'll see that the numbers show up, so you have a moment to quickly remember that number and write it down. For example, 2431. So that's easy enough to remember. You write that down next to all of the people, and that way you'll know what rank each person is in the race. Ninji Skills Level 2. In this one, you have to keep track of 2 ninjas in the boxes. So I just keep my attention focused entirely on each of these 2 boxes, especially when you see that sliding moves are taking place, and you see that one box is moving from one end of the circle to the opposite end of the circle. That could be a really easy moment to lose track of where each ninja is. So at that particular moment, you really want to focus on where the ninja is. And then at the end, the other thing to be careful of is while you're spinning these into place, make sure that you don't accidentally mistake which is which, because while you make some of these spins to get them into this blue outline here, some of them might move. So you have to remember where the ninjas are. Okay, so here's how to do Ninja Skills Level 3. This is one that some people have difficulty with. So we could see that there are 4 ninjas that you have to keep track of, and 2 other boxes that aren't as important to keep track of. So the easier thing to do here, what I do here, is I keep track of the 2 boxes that are not ninja. And that way it's a lot easier to manage. It's a lot easier to keep track of just 2 boxes, and then at the end, knowing that the other 4 boxes are ninja, than trying to keep track of all 4 ninja boxes at the same time. So there are some moves that are a little bit more tricky than in Ninja Skills Level 1 and in Ninja Skills Level 2. You'll see some of the boxes, sometimes they poof and disappear and reappear somewhere else. but if you're keeping track of just the 2 boxes that are not the ninjas, then this shouldn't be too difficult for you to do and you should be able to solve this. Bath Math Level 2. So this one, it could be a little bit trickier than Bath Math Level 1, but it's basically the same idea. You have to be able to do quick arithmetic in your head. You have to be able to count how many Goombas are entering the pool and how many Goombas are leaving the pool, and you want to be able to keep track of how many are in the pool when the round suddenly ends. And the funny thing is that usually towards the end of this round, you'll see some Goombas very quickly entering and leaving, and then the round will just suddenly end. So especially towards the end, you really want to pay attention to how many Goombas are entering and how many Goombas are leaving. If you're having trouble with doing this arithmetic in your head, then you could have a calculator by your side if you're able to punch in numbers like +2, +3, -1 very quickly. If that's easier than doing it in your head, then you could also do it that way. Now, this part after watching the event may be a little tricky for some. The way that it works is you have to have all 4 of these tiles filled in with something, either a number or an addition or subtraction symbol. The way that I'm able to do this quickly is before I even get to this round, I have in my head what the final answer is. For example, let's say the final answer is 12. Then I'm thinking in my head, what are the ways that I could come up with the answer 12? You want to have a couple of possible solutions available in your head so that you could quickly come up with one of these solutions. As an example, over here, there aren't any zeros here. That's something that we have to keep in mind. So I can't do 10 + 2, but we can see that there are 3 ones here. So I'm able to do 11 + 1. Another solution that I could have done 13 - 1 if I had only 2 ones here. I've seen quite a few people struggle with Bath Math Level 3, especially once the steam starts to come up and you can't count how many Goombas are inside the actual pool. So here's how I do this. I don't have my attention inside the pool. I am focusing on how many Goombas are entering and how many Goombas are leaving. If you're having trouble with doing this quick arithmetic in your head and keeping track of how many Goombas are entering, leaving, and currently in the pool, then you could use a calculator. You could have a calculator beside you, do +3, +2, -1, -2, whenever you see Goombas entering or exiting. And another tip that you could use is, for the first little bit, you could count on your fingers. Now, the final answers are all going to be above 10, but for the first little bit, if you could keep track on your fingers, that does help quite a bit, and it could give you a bit of confidence to make you do the rest of the level correctly. Now, when you get to the part where you have to fill in the answer in these rings, here's what you have to do. Inside the blue outline, in every single tile there will have to be a number or an addition or subtraction symbol. So if the final answer is 21, before I get here, I start thinking about what are some ways that I could make up the answer 21 using one number plus or minus another number. So you could do something like 17 plus 4, 16 plus 5, 20 plus 1, 23 minus 2. And the reason that you should have several of these available in your mind is because not the same numbers are available every single time. If you want to do 17 plus 4, for example, you might not have a 7 available, so you might have to do something else. You might have to do something like 16 plus 5. So there is a full game of Shy Guys Finish Last, a perfect game with every round completed. And once again, when you're doing the sudden death round, make sure that you know what all of the answers are, because if you make a mistake on this, you're going to have to redo the whole thing. So know the answers, no Burly, no AFLAME, and no SCULLER. So once the song plays through, what you have to do is you have to fill in one of the missing lyrics, and you can see the options on the top left side of the screen, and you have to use these arrows to guide Olivia to the correct letter. And it's also important to note that you have to do this within 3 moves. So it should be very easy, it should be very simple to be able to direct Olivia to the correct letter within 3 moves. The way that your round is set up, you might even be able to do it in 1 move, and if that's the case, all that you do, just keep pressing A, skip through it, and then Olivia will press the button, you press A for Olivia to press the button, and hopefully the cannon does not fire Mario, and you complete this and get the Quizmaster trophy. If this video has helped you, please let me know in a comment below, subscribe if you'd like to see more of my content, and enjoy the game!